All right, hey, Tom, you started at Oura in April 22.
Yeah, April 1st.
April 1st, Fool's Day. And I remember us sitting in Helsinki in a cafe with that first sun rays coming. And you told me, you looked me into the eye and told that, Timo, this company is not what I was sold to. But don't worry, it's not my first rodeo.
I think I said goat rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that was a funny moment because, of course, I fell in love with the product. That's why I ended up at the company. I love the product so much. And I came and I looked at the company, and it's like, you pick up a rock, and you look underneath the rock, and you're like, whoa!
Oh, okay, all right.
It was great, though. It was better than I thought, actually.
Oh, okay, all right. So a little bit history. So our 21 revenue was 100 million. Our 22 revenue was 165 million.
Yep.
But our target was 250 million. So you missed your first target, man.
I missed my first target.
Okay,
yeah.
so
thanks for setting that, by the way, before I got there.
Yeah. So then obviously 23 revenue was 250. Then was $500 million, and now this year is gonna be around $1 billion.
Around $1 billion.
So tell me, what did you do first when you started scaling? So for the audience, we try to unlock how did Oura scale. So I'm trying to be super practical. So what did you do first?
You know, the first thing that we realized was we had to stop spending so much money on marketing.
Okay, so you stopped marketing spend.
We stopped marketing
spend. And why
is
that?
Well, because we were losing so much money.
Okay, and how did you find it out?
So we said, let's run a little test. Let's cut back marketing spend by 10% and see what happens. Marketing team freaked out. Oh my God, you can't do that. Sales are going to stop. We said, all right, well, let's do that. And marketing stopped spending and the sales went down a little bit. I said, okay, well, how about the next month? Let's cut it by 20%, see what happens. So we did that. Sales went down a little bit, but not as much.
Sure.
Last month, no spending.
Yeah.
Sales went up.
Okay, so
we had the best month ever.
So the first things you did as a CEO is you cut marketing spend 10%, 20%, and then to zero.
Yeah.
Okay, and the sales went up.
Yeah.
All right. How did you dare to do that? Because you were a fresh CEO, and I remember those times. Oura was not on the level of success we are right now. So you could have got booed, I mean.
Yeah, it could have been wrong.
Yeah.
I think what I believed was that the product was going to sell itself.
Okay, that sounds like a Finnish engineer.
It's a great product, and we knew it. We knew that people loved it, but we also had data.
Okay.
And the data suggested that 1 out of 2 of our customers came because someone recommended it to you.
Sure.
Right? So we knew that if we cut back on marketing, we would see if we could make marketing more efficient. Turns out we were exactly right. The second thing that we did, this is maybe a good lesson for all y'all, is we focused on a partner. And we found a partner who added value to the product, and it was called Natural Cycles. I don't know, some women might use it. And what it does is basically a contraceptive. It tells you, when's the right day, if you don't want to take a hormonal birth control, when's the right day to have sex.
Hey, how did that partnership go? Because Oura has, looking back right now, Oura has done some really right strategic choices,
That's
right? And Natural Cycles is one very good partner, and it kind of took the company to the women's health, right?
That's right.
So how did we get into the partnership? Was it just serendipity, or?
No, I think
you're mastermind, of course, but besides that,
we thought about what's a market that's not being served very well, especially by wearables and especially in health, and women were a great example.
So what were then the markets that were served?
So Oura had been like a great sort of sleep tool for biohackers.
Sure.
Right? These kind of people who are really trying to optimize every aspect of their life. And that was a great market.
Sure.
But then there was this whole market of women who wanted to understand their bodies and to use data to optimize their lives.
And how did you find out about that market?
Well, we had some women in the company. And the women in the company said, hey, we think this is an important part of the company and this is an important part of the product. Let's invest in that direction. And I came in and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that.
Yeah.
And so we found that partner, and I tell you, the first month, sales really rocketed in the first month. You're like, oh, that's good validation.
Sure. So what is then, tell me a little bit about the Oura product and culture, etc. I know that even if you are American executive from Silicon Valley, so you have always said that we need to stay true to our intent.
That's right.
What does it mean for you?
Well, for us, the company was founded with this intent of making a difference in people's lives, giving them a lot of value, but also maybe changing the way people approach healthcare. Instead of being told what to do in their health, they become the CEOs of their own health journey, the drivers of their health bus. That was always the intention. And so this women's health thing was a perfect connection to that. It was sort of like, let's give women a tool to understand their cycle and understand, what's going on with their body, when they should exercise, when they shouldn't exercise. And sort of leading into that, we were both listening to our customers, and I think we were being true to our spirit of having a desire to make a difference in women's lives.
Sure, that's very good. So, if I compare Oura in a way, and I go and look at some of the friendly competitors, what I see there is like a sweaty people, right? Yeah. And in their
ripped abs.
Like
us.
Like us. So then what I see when I go to Oura is normal people, right?
That's right.
Is that the conscious choice, and how does it tell about the brand and intent?
One of the most important lessons I've ever learned in my career is that you should pick a really big market. Yeah. Because even if you do okay in a big market, you can have a good outcome, right? Sure. So fitness is a good market, but it's very churny. How many people go to gym, in January and they're like, I'm going to work out a lot, and then by March the gyms are empty, right? It's a churny use case. But health both is a bigger market because everybody cares about their health, everybody sleeps, everybody wants to be healthy, but not everybody goes to the gym all the time. So bigger market, and then maybe more importantly, it's the kind of thing that if you actually have a health problem or you're struggling with something, you're not going to churn. This is a stat that's interesting. You know this, but I'll tell the audience. 25% of Oura Ring wearers, they wear it because it's a tool for managing their chronic illness. Chronic illness? Yeah, so they might have like chronic fatigue syndrome or lupus or long COVID or any number of things.
So one out of four.
1 out of 4. Now, what do you think the retention rate of someone who has a chronic illness and use it as a tool to manage their health?
Well, it's pretty much 100%.
It is 100%.
If it works.
If it works.
If it works like Train's toilet.
So, that's a great Finnish statement.
So what does it mean?
So
for the non-Finns, because you like this idiom.
We do. I love Finnish culture. It's a big part of the company. We pride ourselves on our Finnishness. I'm an adopted Finn. I'm not quite Finnish. I'm adopted Finn. But it works like a trained toilet. A Train's toilet means it just works. You're never gonna have a problem with it because it's basically just a hole in the floor of the toilet of the train, and that's where it goes. It just works.
Yeah. Hey, talking about those strategic choices for the audience, when I'm kind of looking back, I started at Oura as the first investor. I don't know even when.
Congratulations, by the way.
2013
well done.
Or something like that. Yeah. So it was
good investment.
Yeah. So the first kind of a strategic choice that we made was that we selected sleep over activity. Yeah. So we selected normal people over sweaty people.
That's right.
And I think that Oura kind of works for sweaty people as well, but that was the first choice. Then we coined readiness instead of recovery.
Right.
There's a small nuance, but readiness means that how ready you are, it's a positive thing, right? And that kind of guides the product. Then you became, and then we selected the female audience.
That's right.
And then what you know that I've been really advocate of this broadening to stress and daytime use, right? So tell me about that. What's the thing behind the daytime use?
Well, so...
And tell about this retention cycle and all that stuff.
I think that the thing about sleep that's so powerful is that everybody is going to sleep in a 24-hour period. Yeah. At least we hope so. Maybe some of you aren't because it's slush and you're going to be up all night. But that urge to sleep is so powerful, you're going to do it. And then you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to feel how you feel about the day. And we give you some information. That's called the morning moment. How am I going to do? And that's such a powerful way of generating engagement, because if you do something every 24 hours, it's an opportunity for us to say, hey, here's some value for you. Here's what we do for you. Here's some information. Here's something about your body you didn't know. And that moment of engagement, it leads to a second moment in the middle of the day. And that was stress or exercise. How am I doing? Do I need to get my steps in? Was I stressed because I was on stage? What was it that drove my day? And then there's a third moment, which is this sort of nighttime moment. Frequency of engagement turns out to be the #1 predictor of retention. So if you can keep people engaging, you can retain them. You have more opportunities to deliver value. So that was the key. And stress was a big part of it because, again, who hasn't felt stress? Who doesn't feel stress at some point during the day, whether it's a situation in your work or with your family, there's going to be some stress.
Hey, this is really interesting. Let's get back on this, like how do we kind of manage this like a hyperscale, right? So the first thing, this was a 100 million company, and you came and you said that no marketing budget anymore, right? So what else did you do? So
the next
thing, you said that the management sucks and you need to hire the new guys?
We basically got a brand new team. And it was a team that had seen the movie of scaling before. So they kind of, it's starring them. They were in that movie. So they knew how to do it. And they knew, we had kind of grown from a small startup to a kind of a mid-sized company. And we saw that if we wanted to do $1 billion in revenue and be an $11 billion company, you just needed a different type of person.
So now being very practical, so you were coming here into a 100 million company, right? So when you kind of started hiring team, and now it has been like a rehired few times already in certain parts, did you kind of hire people who can run like 200 million company or a billion company or 10 billion? So what's the kind of time frame you are building the team for?
I think for $1 billion.
For $1 billion.
To $5 billion.
Billion to 5 billion.
Yeah, because when you get to be too big, you're like a big manager, you're managing a lot of people, you're managing managers. That's not what we were solving for. We wanted people who were a mix of they had founder energy, but they also had like experience scaling, and that's a very unique combo.
So what is then the third thing? What did you do with the product? Because the product was, quite honestly, it has been pretty stagnant until the time that you came, and then it was quite stagnant for a long period after you came. So what happened there?
So I think
seriously, it was really like stagnant, right?
We had to invest. We had to invest in two things. And the first thing we decided to invest in was new areas of health. So we went from sleep, and then we went to heart health. We went to sleep to women's health. We went from women's health to stress. From stress, we went to metabolic health. You can scan your food, and it comes up with a metabolic analysis. You can wear a blood sugar monitor. So it was about expanding kind of horizontally to expand the market. That was the first thing. That was really the first thing. Then the second thing that we did in the product was realize that actually the experience of the product, most people say, oh, it's a ring, right? It's like a Fitbit, right? And like it tells you your step. Like there's a very kind of simplistic version of this. And what we realized was actually it was the software experience and the insights that people were coming back for. That's what they loved. So we invested very heavily in software. We hired lots of new software engineers. We started looking at new ways of developing software. And that investment was like the difference that made a difference in the product. Because it said, if you are training for a marathon or if you're sick, we can orient features for you. We can start to actually build enough things for more than one ICP, one type of customer.
So in terms of the product, something that is a mystery for me, whenever I go to Instagram, I get like 13 in a dozen Oura copycats. And they are half price, third price. They look very similar. So are you afraid that this will be like commodity?
I think
and how do we battle against that?
So I'm not worried about it being a commodity. And the reason is...
So you're not afraid of it?
I'm not afraid of it. The software is really the differentiator. When people experience the software and they understand how deep it is, that's very hard to keep up with. We're iterating very quickly. But the other part of it, of course, is we've had a really intentional strategy around intellectual property. So we've really been successful at kind of locking down the patent portfolios on the hardware and the software side. And in a few cases, we've licensed that to people, so we make revenue from them. And in a few cases, we've had to sue them for infringement, and we've been successful.
So tell me about this kind of product function. How does it work today? So how do the kind of new ideas come? How do you prioritize in this like a hyperscale in the next kind of a phase that we are right now?
I think this is a good lesson for everybody in this audience who's a founder or an operator. But the way our product process works is we start with science because we're looking for something differentiated in the science. It moves into sort of like envisioning what needs to happen in the hardware and the software. It gets designed and built, and then we deliver.
And how long is this cycle?
It depends on the kinds of features. We have a basket of features that are like very predictable, and then there's some in the science. You don't know if it's going to take you 6 months or take you 2 years. And that's because human physiology doesn't just yield to like, oh, I can code this up. It's like, you've actually got to get it right. If you're going to make a prediction about when someone's going to be pregnant, it has to be right.
Sure.
You can't be like, oh, there's a bug and I got you pregnant. Oh, that doesn't work. So it has to work. So different styles. But the product process, honestly, the most important thing is that you listen to your customers. And your customers can guide you, and they can tell you where to invest and where not to invest. And so this was a big thing that we put a lot of emphasis on getting customers to come and talk to us and sort of listening to what it was that they were not getting. This is where women's health came from, right?
So you are not afraid of this, like people say that whether you should do like revolutionary stuff or listen to your customers. So you're not afraid of missing the revolutionary
You have to do both.
stuff.
The science is the revolutionary stuff.
Science, yeah.
The science is like, let's go and discover something about what it means to measure stress. How might you measure stress? That's new science.
And I don't think that people actually realize how big the science team is.
Yeah. Maybe we're a 1,000-person company, give or take. We probably have 70 people in our science organization. Like a real set, like PhDs and data gathering and all sorts of stuff.
So close to 10% of people are doing like a science. And I've met the guys, so they are the real scientists. And they were actually asking from me that, what is, Timo, the right level of risk-taking in our product roadmaps? What do you think?
What do you mean? What risk-taking?
The risk-taking in a way that if you really are looking for the moonshots, there's a risk that you are not like iterative enough, and still the Chinese guys are coming, right? And they're copying everything you have there.
You have to probably take more risk than you're comfortable. For sure. And I think one way of thinking about that is you need just like a portfolio, a balanced set of investments, some of which are high risk and could fail, and some of which are low risk and they're going to work. And I think we've managed that portfolio pretty well. An example of that might be, we're doing work right now on blood pressure. We just opened up a study with 100,000 people. It's a scientific study with a large population. That's relatively low risk, because we know we can do it. Then there's something that's like super high risk, which is like, hey, can we predict the day that you're going to deliver a baby if you're a pregnant woman? That's relatively high risk because we're not, it's not certain. So you got to take some of these really big, big swings, but you got to have enough things that you have the confidence that you can deliver.
Hey, one thing that I've been wondering as an Oura board member is that because this is very like an intent-driven company. And Miklu Silvanto, who used to work at Apple and is now doing design at Oura, said, for example, that Oura is a story you want to be a part of. Apple is not, right? So it's a far more inspiring story. And now when you have all this kind of money coming in and, success, etc., so how do you make sure that you are not losing it? I mean, you get like greedy people joining the company, I want more. How do you kind of, the founder, Petteri, you said on the backstage that he has a big heart, right?
Big heart.
And he has a really big heart. So how do you keep this Petteri's heart, in the company?
So I think it's so important as you scale not to let your head get big. That's like an American statement about like you become too arrogant, you become too proud. So you have to stay really hungry and humble.
How do you do that? Because that's a little bit like everybody here says that you need to stay that way, and culture is important. But I mean, tell me how? I mean, are you like every morning you go to the mirror and say, hey, I'm just a normal Tom Hale? Or how do you do it?
I think it's a lot of different ways, but maybe one way that I do is really intentional. So, at the office, you go to the bathroom, and sometimes the bathroom's not as clean as you might like. There might be some water on the sink or something like that. And usually, maybe there's somebody in there in the bathroom and you're washing your hands and it's kind of a mess. And I'll do this intentionally. I'll clean up the sink. Like I won't leave it. It's not someone else's job to clean it up. It's my job. And what that says is like, hey, you're the CEO of the company and yet you're still cleaning, the bathroom. And like, it's a small thing. But it's big enough that like people take that signal, and if you do that, I don't know, in 100 ways or 100 different times, like it becomes part of the culture. So why you don't leave the bathroom dirty?
So why do you do that? Do you do that because you are playing the role of a CEO, or because you are Tom?
I do it because I like a clean bathroom. I don't like a messy bathroom, but I think it has the impact of people realizing that being a CEO is sort of like people think it's a really big deal. Like you know everything. Guess what? You don't know everything. Oh, every decision you make is perfect. Guess what? It's not.
Sure.
And so you have to kind of show that there's some element of your humanity and your vulnerability, and that you might get it wrong, and that maybe, you know what, you had a bad night's sleep and you feel like crap that day.
Sure.
That humanity, and going back to your kind of question about Petteri, he's been on this stage, I think, a couple of times. Maybe some of you guys have seen him. He's a very inspiring guy. But the most important thing is that he really, really instilled the company with a sense that we're doing something both important,
sure,
but valuable for people. We exist, we work hard, people come to our company because we want to make a difference. We really are making a difference in the world. And we see that because we get emails every day from someone who says, you changed my life. I get this in the airport. I'm wearing my Oura like branded garb in the airport. Someone comes to me, a woman says, hey, you know what? Oura got me pregnant. And I said, no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. But I understand. And the thing is, like, we're making an impact in people's life. And that intention, by the way, it helps us recruit very effectively.
Sure.
It helps us retain. It helps motivate people. People give more in terms of their effort because of that mission.
Sure.
If you can really establish a mission and do it in an authentic way, not in a, we're making the world a better place, kind of way.
Yeah,
we're like that Silicon Valley cliche, which is sometimes true, but most often not.
Sure.
If you can really do that, you can actually attract talent, even as a tiny company that you have no right attracting.
Sure. I think that it's so important. I mean, I hate when people say that you are a mission-driven company, because it's a little bit of this jargony, right?
Yeah.
I love the way how I've been starting to talk about Oura is that it's an intent-driven. So we have an intent that we want to make people champions of their own health.
That's right.
And that should be the kind of a guiding principle in everything that you do, right?
It is, and I'll tell you, it's not just an intention like for other people.
Yeah.
It's an intention for ourselves.
Sure. So tell me about you first.
I'll share this
story about when you went to this meeting with these health people.
Well,
the moment when Tom Hale started to eat healthy.
Yeah, so I spent the first 20 years of my career drinking alcohol in the evening, drinking coffee in the morning because I drank alcohol the night before, and then because I was so wound up on coffee, I would drink alcohol at the end of the day. And I was in okay shape. I wasn't in great shape. I actually got the Oura ring before I joined Oura.
Sure.
And this was a personal story. My life had kind of gone to hell in a handbasket. We'd sold a company, it was being unsold. My kids were having a really hard time during COVID. My wife and I were struggling. And I was like, I lost sleep. I couldn't sleep for the first time in my life. I'm a championship sleeper. First time I lose sleep. And I got this little device, I started using it, and it changed my life. It was like walking out of a black and white television show on a tiny little screen like this into a 4K massive 70 millimeter cinema. And let me tell you something. What I realized was in that moment, I had lived 20 years of my life sleep deprived.
Sure.
And this was the realization. I was like, do people really feel like I feel right now all the time? Because I normally feel like this, and now I feel like I'm smarter,
Sure.
Amazing. And so that's what got me excited about the company.
Sure. Hey, let's talk about what next. So we just got this like 900 million. So what is the story forward?
Well, let's see. So it's been almost maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we haven't mentioned AI once.
Yeah.
So AI. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we're going to spend some money on AI. That's important, right? So AI is obviously changing the way people build software, the way software gets delivered.
Sure.
We just did a redesign of the application to kind of open up some space so that generative AI content can come into it. Okay, so AI is one piece of it. A second piece is international.
But what is this kind of AI? So talk more about it. So what will Oura look like when I have AI there?
Well, it's a good question. I think we're going to evolve to that. But one of the ways we think about it is most AI experiences are kind of a chat, right? If you're using Lovable, you'll ask it to do something, and it chats back. It tells you what's going on. And we have that. That's a powerful experience. It's good. But the reality is you're prompting the AI. And one of the powers of Oura is that if it knows something about you, it can kind of prompt you, right? It can kind of say, hey, you know what, Timo, go for it. It's a great day. Lift 200 pounds, 250, go for it. So that kind of like prompting the user is maybe how we think about it.
Sure, very good. What else? You talk about the international.
Yeah, so look, it's maybe surprising to folks, but we're mostly in 2 markets. You know, we're kind of a little bit in Europe. Finland is actually like our number 3 market, if you can believe that, in terms of size, and then we're in the US. So we're not really around the rest of the world, and we're really intentional about expanding, but you know, this year we'll be launching a bunch of new languages, localizing the AI, all the things that'll make us an international product. But because it's a physical product, we have to import it into countries. We can't just turn on the software and let people use it. We've got to like ship things in containers and airplanes and set up support and all that stuff. We're a subscription business. You have to have people getting support in their local language.
Sure.
That's what we're doing international. That's going to spend some money. By the way, it's good money to spend. Then the last piece, of course, is healthcare, because our vision has always been to be kind of a catalyst for change in the healthcare industry. You know, in Europe, maybe 10% of the total GDP of Europe is spent on healthcare. How can we change that? There's not enough doctors to go around. If you're going to the doctor, you're waiting too long, and then you're getting 15 minutes with a doctor. How can we be like a virtual doctor in your pocket? How can we be that? So that kind of move towards healthcare is a big part of what we're going to see in the future.
Yeah. So Tom, here to the end, I must say that as a kind of early investor and board member, I'm like, this is a little bit jargony, but I'm really privileged that I have had a chance to work with you. So I have learned so much. And here to the end, I say that you like the idioms. so you fit to Oura like fist in the eye.
Like a fist in the eye.
Like a fist in the eye. Yeah. It's a Finnish saying that you are a perfect match.
Well, thank you.
So let's have for Tom and Oura.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Timo. Appreciate it.